All right, guys. Hey, we got to do some burn down alfalfa today, and we got to replant the pea field. The birds ate the pea crop. Go figure. So we got to plant that to soybeans today. But just a quick update: the lawsuit of farmers versus Biden, or the Biden administration, whatever that debacle is going on, whatever you call that circus show going on. I would say something else, but so the law firm, the Will law firm out of Wisconsin, they said that they've had just a tremendous positive, just a tremendous outreach from farmers wanting to support this lawsuit, and so that's awesome. They are moving forward with whatever, however they do it. But it's still moving forward, and it's progressing nicely. My live TV thing, so I've never done live TV before. I would rather not do it. Every one of them I have told, why don't we do it about what I'm doing here, about working with farmers on how to show farmers, like, we don't need to follow this model of corporate ag and just produce corn and beans, beans for China. We can actually grow food for our neighborhood, and we don't need all this toxic chemical farming that we're doing. I'd rather do stories on that. I'd rather do stories about all these other farmers around here that are growing food directly off their farm for their community. Them are stories I want to do. This live TV about a hot topic like this, not what I want to do. But it's what we need to do. It's the right thing to do. So the first interview we did, that was with the local TV station. I'm having a hard time waking up and getting going. That was with the live TV, or pre-recorded for the TV station, KSTP, and they made a nice article out of it, and it actually went well. But it was a little nerving, because you got to think about everything you say as you're saying it, so you don't say the wrong thing, to where somebody can on social media just completely hammer you over it. But at the same time, I'm not on social media other than YouTube and a little bit of Facebook. I have an Instagram account, but I don't do Instagram, TikTok, all them things. I'm on Twitter a couple times a month at the most. There's only a couple people I'll respond to. I don't really post. And so I for all I know, I'm just being absolutely drugged through the mud. And who really cares? Because it's people that don't know me. So I don't really care. So then the first live show was with Greg Kelly Live. And I was expecting more information. Like, here's what we're going to ask you for questions, and this. So you're just sitting on a Zoom meeting, and all of a sudden you're watching the program below, and you're just thinking is somebody going to let me know when I'm on? I don't want to just be sitting there like, oh, you're on national TV. And so I was nervous as to how this is working. But in my head, I'm rehearsing, here's why I'm doing this lawsuit. Here's why this lawsuit is discrimination, and blah, 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 blah. All these tough questions. And Greg Kelly comes on, but people come on and they say, hey, can you count to 5 for me? And you tell them, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can go to 10 if you let me use my fingers, not to brag. And no, we're just doing a sound check to video to make sure that's good. Okay. And then 10 minutes later, somebody else comes on. Hey, push your camera back. Yep, perfect. Move to the right there. Perfect. Stay there. You're framed in. We're getting you set up and good to go. All right, great. 10 minutes later, somebody comes back on and is like, hey, 30 seconds, you're on. You're just like, on with what? I don't know yet. Well, we didn't discuss what's going to be discussed yet. And so you're thinking all these things like, yeah. And Greg Kelly comes on and he says, so, John, what do you farm up there? I piled on the brakes of my brain. You just had to stop that brain and smash. It hit my forehead, and you're just like, what? I was expecting all these, better questions and what? So you had to, rewind and shift gears quick and oh, well, here's what I farm. And then he had a couple more questions. So that was kind of a fun interview, but it was a little bit of a fluffy piece for me, which is fine. I will never do any of these Sean Hannity types where I would gladly do Sean Hannity, but I'm not going to get the message of farming out there and what it's like to be farming versus other businesses and the whole subsidies and this whole thing. But I'm not going to do one where you got another opposing person and you just scream at each other. Like, no, that's a whole bunch of hooey crap. We're never doing that one. So then the second one was the Don Lon report, and whoever tried to teach him how to interview a farmer, they have no clue how to ask the right questions or what's going on, because he was trying to come across as hard hitting and you know, I get it, and that's his deal, and I think he does a good job, but they just totally blew it on us, because he's talking about this $4 billion bill, and he's like, how much government money is in farming, John? And I'm just like, I don't know. In my head, I'm thinking, well, how would I know how much government money is in farming? Like, is he talking like government programs or what? And I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about or what you're trying to ask. And he's like, well, have you ever taken subsidy dollars? And you're like, yeah, well, how much? Like, all of them? Like, I don't know what to answer. And so I'm just like, you know what? There's always been subsidies in farming, but it's never been based upon whether I'm white or not white. Like, this is stupid. That's why we're here. And so that one was a complete botched job. Then Newsmax, a very nice lady interviewed for their YouTube channel. I believe it's going to come out in several other places. And that was awesome because you just a candid conversation. And then the last Newsmax with Wake Up America, with the blonde, that was pretty nice because they actually had good questions. We had a good conversation. They let me just speak, and I'm glad I got to say that there's so much more of a conversation here than what these news people are reporting. But that was the same thing. You're just sitting there live, you're watching the program, you're looking at your screen, and then all of a sudden somebody's just like, oh, 10 seconds, ready to go, and you're just like, ah! And again, none of them ever gave you questions ahead of time. It's not like you're this debacle of a president where you get lobbed, you know, here's the script to read. And so it's quite weird. I hope I'm doing a good job. I am very nervous and very scared to do these live TVs because you never know what's going to happen, what's going to be said, and stuff like that. So I'm learning as I go, but so that just the fun of doing the live national TV stuff. But on that note, I got the sprayer hooked up right now, and we're gonna grab the sprayer and go burn out that alfalfa again, and then drop him off and get hooked up to the planter and get some soybeans behind the barn where that pea crop failed, and I'll show you what's going on.